wealthy, successful Americans who agree with me.
This is great.
Because they want to give something back.
Mm-hmm.
They know they didn't. Look, if you've been successful, you didn't get there on your own.
No, you didn't.
Not on your own.
Hang on just a second.
Didn't get
Hang on
there
a second. I didn't. Stu, I'm successful, but you helped me get there. You helped me get there.
Thank you.
And you're successful now. Are you? And I mean, let me ask this of Pat. Pat, would you say Stu is probably the most successful executive producer in radio now?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, okay. Pat, you helped me get there. You successful now?
Yes.
You were broke in the 1990s. You broke now?
No.
Jeffy, I didn't get there alone. You helped me. You helped me put the first talk show on the radio in Tampa.
Don't ask him the broke question.
I don't have anything to ask you. Here's the thing. Successful people know they didn't make it alone, and so they take the people with them that help them do it. And we all work together. We all become successful together.
If they're good people, if they're bad people, they step on all those people.
And then they fail in the end.
And then they fail. And then they slide right back down the ladder, and they have to regroup and do it again.
Unless they're bailed out by somebody in government. When they're bailed out, then they're bailed out. But he goes on. He says that if you were successful, Henry Ford didn't do it. Now I got to ask how Henry Ford was successful because there weren't roads. There weren't roads. We had to build the roads for the cars that Henry Ford built. So how did Henry Ford get them when things were just dusty trails? How was he successful? How is that possible? Henry Ford failed 3 times. 3 times. He tried the assembly line 3 times. He kept going to investors, not the government, the investors, and saying, okay, I know I blew it the last time, but this time I got it. And then he blew it the second time. Okay, guys. This time I got it. Finally, he got it. It took him like 15 years. Was the government the one that was there? Hell no. It was Henry Ford and a group of investors and people who believed in it and thought, you know what, you might have something here. Was the government there when GM was bailed out? I asked this question. Was the government there to bail out? Do you remember when, if you're my age, inside the door plate, when you'd open up a GM car, and inside the door plate was a little teeny blue sticker, a little teeny blue plate. Does anybody remember this? Do you remember this, Pat? When I say it, and I don't remember what it said, but inside the door plate, you'd open up a GM car, and down on the bottom, where you would step into the car, was a little teeny blue plate, and it had a little carriage in it. You remember that, Jeffy? You remember now, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you know why that was there?
To remind us that it wasn't a horse and carriage.
No, I didn't even know because GM started as a carriage company. And the guy who was running GM at the time decided he made the best horse carriages ever. They were the best in the country. And so he decided, I am either going to beat him, fail, or join him. I'm not going to beat the car. The horse thing is over. I am not going to fail. And so he took and he decided, I'm going to make the best chassis for a car. I'm going to make the best suspension of any car because I do the best suspension on carriages. The government didn't bail them out. They were a carriage company, and they changed. Now, Mr. Obama says that if you succeed in America, that you didn't do it on your own. Well, tell me something, Mr. Obama. How come Solyndra has failed? You are trying to force people. You're forcing towns and states. You're forcing insurance companies. You're forcing everybody to depend on you. We don't want to depend on you. We don't want you. We don't want the big fat government in our lives. You know what? Why don't you create a free zone? You know what? You won't because you're a coward. Create a free zone. Give us Texas. Give us Texas. You hate Texas. Give us Texas. We'll just run Texas. Put a big, huge fence all around it. Give us the Mountain West. We'll take your worst place. We'll take, what is it, Washington, New York, California? What's the worst place now in America? We'll take the worst place. You get rid of all of your progressive bums. You get rid of all your people there that are like, oh, I just want, help us, help us, help us. We'll take people who are broke but have work ethic, broke but have a brain, broke but will teach themselves. We'll take all those people and we'll put them in any state in the union, and we'll bust your ass. I guarantee you, within a decade, that state will bury the rest of the United States of America. Guarantee it. It would bury the rest of the United States. And you know what people like Barack Obama would say then? Oh, well, we inherited all these other problems. Oh, well, they just, they should have to pay their fair share. Get the hell out of my state. It's amazing. It's amazing. The people like Henry Ford. I mean, he goes on. Play a little bit of it. Listen to this.
You didn't get there on your own. I'm always struck by people who think, well, it must be because I was just so smart. There are a lot of smart people out there. It must be because I worked harder than everybody else. Let me tell you something. There are a whole bunch of hard-working people out there.
Oh, good. Yeah. Give me their money.
If you were successful, somebody along the line gave you some help.
Stop. If you are a failure, someone along the line gave you some help. I was a failure for most of my life. I was standing behind stage on Saturday, and somebody was reading, Mark Davis, who is a famous talk show host here in Dallas, was introducing me. And the stagehand behind stage said, we get it. I mean, it's a long list of accomplishments here. Get Glenn on the stage. And I was like, come on, I mean, this is pretty nice. Listen to what he's saying. And the guy, I don't know if he liked me or not, but he was like, okay, we get it. He's great. Let's move on. And so, but I'm listening to it, and I'm thinking to myself this one thing. I failed most of my life. All of those accomplishments have happened in the last 12 years. All of them. All of them. Nobody talks about what I did in the first half of my life. Nobody talks about what I did for the first 38 years of my life. Why? Because I was a failure. Those same people who gave me advice back then gave me advice today. I mean, I'm using the advice that I was given. Pat, am I using any other special knowledge? I had access to all of the knowledge, all of the stuff that I know now. I'm just applying it now.
Yeah.
Solyndra, somebody helped them along the way. Explain that, Barack Obama. People are different. Effort makes a difference. The order that you put it in makes a difference. A man's creative ideas are worth something. He's saying no. He's saying what you have is not special. We all have it. That takes away. Then we don't need patents anymore. We don't need trademarks anymore. We don't need property anymore.
Don't tempt them. Don't tempt them.
Yeah, it is such communist philosophy.
Communist.
We're all the same.
We're all the same.
We're all exactly the same.
You're not special.
No.
Henry Ford, somebody else would have come up with the car. Somebody else would have come up with, and anybody else, not just somebody else, anybody else. Give a monkey enough time and he'll invent a car. Give a monkey enough time and he'll write the Bible. No, he won't. No, he won't. Not everybody is a great writer. Not everybody is a genius. Not everybody can do Apple computers. Not everybody can do what I do. Not everybody can do what you do. We're all unique. Whatever it is you're doing in your job right now, I can guarantee you I can't do it. I can guarantee, I mean, unless you're on the radio or television and you happen to be listening to me, then I can do that job. But if you are, I worked a tractor. Do you know how long it took me to figure out how to work the little dump thing on the front? I don't even know what you call it, Jeffy. What do you call that thing?
It's a front end loader.
Front end thing.
Mm-hmm. Sorry.
How do you know what a front end loader is?
He was listening.
Okay, so I have no idea how to work the front end loader. It took me hours to figure out how to get the front end loader to work and really get it down. You know, you watch these people on construction sites, and they're just like taking that stuff, scooping it up and moving it, and you're like, well, anybody can do that. No, not anybody can do that. That takes some skill. That takes, hours and hours of practice. Mm-hmm. We're not all the same.
Thank goodness.
Yeah,
right.
We shouldn't be.
And it's people like, Glenn who runs a successful business that get blamed for everything today and are the target of all of these, well, you should be, spreading your wealth around things, when you've spent most of your life as a person who would have been the target of the bailouts. Most of your life has been, on the side of things where you would have been receiving from the government. And I think it's almost like those are the most important people. When people, I always find it most powerful when you have people, and they call all the time, they're like, look, I lost my job. We talked to a guy, the most conservative homeless guy in America, who says to himself, look, I'm homeless. I could, of course he could get 1 million government benefits, but he doesn't want to. He wants to do it himself. And when people in a tougher position are still able to stick to their principles, even when it's tough, those are the most powerful people among us.